Well, how about it, y'all? This is Daniel Nicholson with Nicholson Farms, and welcome back to another video. It's been quite a while since I've seen y'all, right at 2 months since we posted a video. Where we left you off, we said that we're going to take a week or two off whenever our daughter was born. Our daughter was born on May 23rd at 3:38 in the afternoon, and she is the perfect little angel. We are so in love with Rylan. She's been quite a blessing for both me and Maddie and the grandparents and everybody in the family. It's been a little bit of an adjustment being a new dad, first child. Everybody tells you what to expect, but until that baby gets here, you really don't know what you're all in for. But it's been a blessing. She's a real easy baby for the most part, and like I said, we're super excited. I'm going to show you her towards the end of this video, but I figured today we'd kind of catch up and show you what's been going on around the farm. There's been a lot, not a ton going on with the farm itself, but a lot in our personal lives that's just kind of put a hold on the YouTube videos and kind of slowed down the pace of things at the farm, just trying to focus on more of our personal life than the actual farm itself. So along with bringing home a newborn in the past 2 months, 2 weeks ago, I started a new job. With the same company still, but I'm not managing actually poultry houses anymore. I'm managing a farm store. The company that I work for owns a feed mill, and they have their own line of feed, and they gave me the opportunity to manage their retail store. So I'll be working at Newberry Farm and Feed. I started 2 weeks ago. If you're in the South Carolina area and you want to make the drive to come see me, I'd love to sell you some feed or any kind of farm supplies. Been a little bit of a pace change for me. I was getting off at 3 o'clock every afternoon and having a decent amount of time to get everything done in the afternoons. Now I'm getting off at 5 in the afternoon. It's just kind of put a time struggle on getting everything taken care of on the farm. The garden is full swing right now, and then we got the animals to take care of as well. So still getting adjusted to all that. The main reason I made that change was because of my family. For the past 5 years, I have worked managing chicken houses, and my schedule was I was off on Friday and Saturdays, and I worked Sunday through Thursday, and which was fine with me. I prefer to be off on Sunday so I could go to church, but that just wasn't an option at the time. So I haven't really been able to attend church for the past 5 years, and now that I have a family, one of my big goals was to actually raise my daughter or son, my family in a church. So we're going to get the opportunity to do that. That's probably the main reason I took this job. So super excited about that. It's actually Sunday morning this morning, and we're going to take Rylan to church for the first time here in just a little while. The church up the road that we plan to attend they just built a brand new sanctuary. So they're having the dedication today. So I figured it was the perfect Sunday to start raising our daughter in a church, and super excited about that. Like I said, that's been a goal of mine for a long time. But like I said, we're going to do a full update on this video of what's going on at the farm. We finished up kidding season the day that we went to the hospital to have Rylan. Our last doe kidded that morning. That baby's doing well. We've experienced some struggles with the goat herd this year, forest parasites. We've gotten a good bit of rain this year. Not a ton at once or anything like that, but just every once in a while we'll get, a decent shower, and for us the parasite loads, it's really been a struggle. And with the time crunch of having a baby and switching careers and stuff, I probably haven't paid attention to the goats as well as I should have. And we have lost several kids over the past 2 months due to that. And so the state of the goat herd, we're going to do a whole different video on that and kind of talk to you about my thoughts, where we're going to go with the goats. Still undecided, but I think it's time for some changes for as the goats go, and the direction of our farm or where I want to take it. But we're going to get into that in another video, like I said, with just specifically for the goats. We're going to show you the garden real quick. Like I said, it's in full swing. We went to the farmer's market yesterday. Took a bunch of corn down there and sold out, and super excited about that. We'll show you that, and then we'll show you our billies are back home. The doe herd is right here with the kids. Our rabbits, we've got some pig updates for you. So I guess we better get into it before it gets hot. It's been super hot and muggy for the past couple days here in South Carolina, so I figured I'd get up early this morning, get all my chores done, and go home and get ready for church. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let's get into the updates. Starting off with the garden, as you can see, we've got corn. What's that movie, Secondhand Line? We planted all that corn. But we've got our first planting right here is pretty much all the way been picked through. I got a couple small ears in there we need to go through and cut, and we can put away for ourselves, but not really big enough and nice enough to sell to customers. Our second planting of corn right here, these 4 rows, we started picking those on Friday. So just a couple days ago. Still got a good bit of picking to do through that. And then our third picking is starting, was tasseled out and starting to develop some ears. Got 1/2 inch of rain on it last night, so that should help them ears keep developing and hopefully produce a good bit of corn for us. The rest of the garden kind of looks like the rest of the farm, needs some work. We got a bunch of weeds in the garden, but we started picking okra about a week ago. Planted 2 rows this year. For the past couple years we've just planted 1, and I just cannot seem to produce enough okra for the people that want it. So we planted 2 rows this year, started picking it, getting about a pound and a half a day right now, but that should increase a good bit over the next couple weeks. This row right here, my dad's got some watermelons planted. Kind of got them in the ground a little bit too late, but they're coming up and starting to grow. And then past these flags right here, I went ahead and, a little late, but I went ahead and planted some more squash, cucumbers, some zucchini. You see it popping up there. So hopefully we're gonna have another round of all that stuff, because all my zucchini and squash is pretty much played out. Right here we've got our green beans. You can see one right in there. But this year I did something a little bit different. For the past couple years I've used bean poles and twine. It's just a mess, and so this year I wanted to try something a little bit different. I bought some 7-foot T-posts, put those in the ground. I put some insulators on them, and I ran this baling twine through them, and this is supposed to be biodegradable baling twine. So hopefully towards the end of this, or after the season, this stuff is just going to kind of degrade, and I'm not going to have to worry about picking it all up, but we'll have to wait and see. I probably still have to pick a good bit of it up. We'll just, like I said, wait and see. This side down here, for some reason, whenever I planted it, the seed didn't germinate that well down here, so I had to replant it. That's a good bit behind. Threw some sunflowers in there just for some pollinators and add a little bit of color to the garden, get around this, I guess essentially a fence. I'll show you the rest of the garden. Got our tomatoes. It's been a weird year for tomatoes. Our tomatoes are just now really coming in. We had a lot of cool nights that just kind of lingered on early, or pretty much all through June and July. You know, now it's starting to pick up and get hot. These tomatoes are starting to produce. We started picking tomatoes this past week, and normally by now we had started a month ago. But like I said, it's been a little bit weird summer for us. Got a bunch of spaghetti squash planted. They're pretty much almost ready. I need to pick those. I love spaghetti squash. We cook with spaghetti squash all the time. Chicken Alfredo, spaghetti, all kinds of different stuff. So grew a good bit of those this year. I don't know if I'll sell any or not. I guess we'll see how many we've got whenever we pick. Cucumbers. This row of cucumbers is our pickling cucumbers. They have pretty much played out. We're still picking a couple of them every day, but not like we were a couple weeks ago. This has been a really good year for cucumbers. We have picked more this year than I have picked probably ever before. Put a lot of pickles away, sold a lot of cucumbers. Right here we've got our zucchini, and it's pretty much played out. I can see a bloom starting to develop right there, or a zucchini right there. Maybe some of it will recover. A couple weeks ago we cooked a good bit of barbecue for 4th of July, and I didn't pick the garden for a whole weekend, and got some big old zucchini in here, and What I've noticed with zucchini and squash and things like that, you got to pick it. If you just let it sit for a couple days, it's gonna kind of go dormant because it thinks it's done reproducing. So I can see, like I said, a couple blooms starting to come back, so maybe this stuff will start producing again. I counted it out. Right here we've got some salad cucumbers. Didn't do the best, but we produced a good many of them off of it. Got some more blooms coming on, so hopefully we're gonna start producing some more. Look at that big old sandwich tomato. I'm gonna have to get that one here shortly. Squash did not do good this year. This end of the garden, for some reason, holds a good bit of moisture. And you can see this is the last plant. I actually had 2 more plants past that, maybe 3, that got drowned out. Squash does not like a lot of water, but it looks like it's starting to recover a little bit. We got a bloom. It's more than I've seen in the past couple days, so maybe we'll start producing a little bit more and until our other squash comes in. But like I said, it's been a weird year with the tomatoes. We're loaded up with green tomatoes on there. They need to ripen up before we can pick them. The garden's been taking a good bit of my time in the afternoon. It takes a while to pick your green beans and your okra and things like that. The tomatoes and stuff I can just run through, but the okra and green beans takes a minute. So I'm pretty much dedicating at least 30 to 45 minutes just in the garden every afternoon. So if I get off at 5, run by the house, change, pick up the dog, say hello to Rylan. You know, that's not putting me out here until 5:45 in the afternoon. Pick that. What's that, 6:15? So you can see how time will get away from you quick and trying to get things done. And we're gonna try to do a little bit better managing my time. I've always been pretty bad about managing time, but let's walk back here and check on the billy goats and the rabbits. I think the rabbits probably need some water this morning. It was super hot yesterday. Something else that got done in the past 2 months was we baled some hay, or I didn't make the trip. But my dad and my brother, and we hired a couple guys to help pick up hay. Baled up right around 450 square bales off of our hay field down in Bamberg, and brought a load back, sitting under the barn on the trailer here. I need to get it stacked in the barn. This is, a quarter of it, maybe not even a quarter of it. So we got plenty of hay. The rest of the hay that we bale off that field this year will probably sell. I don't need 1,600 bales to feed the animals that I have. About 500 will probably do it. But we got to get this stuff stacked under the hay whenever I find some time one day. Like I said, the billy goats are back home now. Again, parasites is an issue. And when I bought Kiko's, like I said, we're gonna make a whole video on this. When I bought Kiko's, I really want to get away from having to deworm all the time and really want that parasite resistance. But these guys started looking pretty rough, and unfortunately, I've had to deworm Clyde before, but I ended up deworming Thunder as well. You can kind of see he doesn't look completely filled out. He lost a decent amount of weight. So I've been feeding these 2 guys for a little bit every day, trying to put a little bit of weight back on them. On top of that, they're in this little pen right here. So this is kind of where I keep my bucks. So I give them a little bit of grain just so they can sustain their body condition. But they look a lot better, especially Clyde. Clyde's put on a decent amount of weight since we dewormed them probably about 2 weeks ago. So they're looking good. We're gonna make a whole video on the goats, like I said. Rabbits over here, nothing's really changed on the rabbits. I haven't bred any rabbits recently. For a minute, I was thinking about getting out of the rabbit business. Yeah, they could use some water. I was thinking about getting out of the rabbit business, but at the same time, I kind of like having the rabbits. I don't know, it's just something else to take care of the afternoon. We really didn't do that well with the rabbits this spring for us breeding. A lot of our does were not the best moms for some reason. We'd have litters and then we'd lose some. I don't know what it was about. It's just like the moms wasn't taking care of them, but we're gonna keep going with it. probably start breeding rabbits again here in the fall. I'm gonna put the camera down so I don't spill water all over me this morning. But we're gonna start breeding rabbits again probably in the fall. See if we can get some more kits. I guess that's what they're called, I think. But we're gonna see if we can sell a decent amount of rabbits. I'm gonna cut down to 3 does. I've got 4 does in that pen now. We got one that I've had since I started rabbits almost 2 years ago. So we're gonna get rid of that doe. And I might end up getting rid of another one and getting some new genetics in. And just focus on 3 does and 1 buck for the time being. 4 does is a little too much for me. Get some rabbit food, go back out there. But yeah, it's really nothing to change for the rabbits. I've got our male and 2 other males in our rabbit tractor out there, just giving them a little bit of fresh grass every day. Really nothing to change there. Rabbits are easy. Like I said, something else to take care of in the afternoon. And I'm starting to think a lot about what fits our farm. You know, if the rabbits can be profitable and I enjoy doing them, they fit the farm. Other things that's on the farm, just don't know if they fit anymore. So up here with the goats, we're gonna do a quick update on them. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna make a whole video on how the goats are doing. The majority of the herds up here, we got a couple down here on the other side of this brush pile. It's gonna be walking up here, but the majority of our goats did get pretty wormy. And I did something this past week that I haven't done in a couple years, and that is deworm everybody. Like I said earlier, we've lost several kids. I think close to 10 is how many we've lost, and pretty devastating. Part of that was, you know, being away with the baby, not really putting my eyes on them like I should have. We went on vacation for a week, and that's kind of when the trouble started. Whenever I was on vacation and all the goats were up at the lease, I didn't really have a good place to catch them all up, and I probably should have brought them home a little sooner and dewormed everybody. But we got everybody back home last weekend and got everybody dewormed. And, you know, it's just part of raising goats, the struggle of parasites. And, you know, I've done pretty good, I feel like, for the past couple years with the amount of goats that we have lost or had to cull out due to parasites. But even some of the does that, you know, I've never really had to deworm was a little wormy this year. And it's just kind of different year. Every year is going to be different. A lot of our moms are not in the best condition because of the parasite load and raising babies. Some of the babies aren't growing as well as they normally should. Something we changed a little bit this year is we're not creep feeding our kids. We're trying to do it all on grass. So that's kind of played a little bit of a role in it as well. For as, you know, the size of our kids. Also, I'm sure you can see that a lot of these kids have had some runs. We ran everybody on cord as well, trying to get everybody off of that, out of that at least, and hopefully we're past the majority of that. Like I said, everybody's dewormed. Everybody's been ran through cord, and hopefully we're going to be a little bit better going forward for us, you know, losing at least. We're going to talk about the goats in depth in our next video, and just kind of my thoughts on where we are in our goat raising and the future of our goat herd. So over here on the neighbor's property, we have our 2 steers. They've been on this little lot right here for about a week. It's probably 1.5 acres or so I've got fenced off for them. One of my goals this morning, hopefully if I get this video wrapped up and get all my chores done, is I'm gonna start setting them up another paddock for hopefully to move them tomorrow. And I'm actually gonna be where these steers were. We've got our old mare in here. We separated off our other horse. He's a little thin, so we separate him off to feed him separate. He's just an older horse. But one of my goals this morning, hopefully, is I'm gonna get our Premier One netting stretched out on the line where you can see our step-in post, where these steers have been fenced off. And I'm gonna run the goats behind the steers. We're gonna move the steers onto another section down over here. And we're just gonna kind of follow the steers with the goats, hopefully. Get those goats some fresh grass, get them off of our pastures, give a little bit of break for the parasite load and everything. I meant to call this week to try to get these two guys some butcher dates. Looking at probably February, maybe March, possibly on into April. These guys are doing pretty well. Not growing the fastest, but we are raising them strictly on grass. We haven't been giving them any grain. As you can see, their sides are filled out. They're getting plenty to eat. They're growing. So kind of happy with these two guys. They've been pretty gentle steers. No really problems. So yeah, we need to get them onto some grass, get them some butchering dates, and get these sold as whole and halves. Up here with the piggies, you might notice there is a lot less pigs here than there was. We still have 3 feeder pigs in this group, and actually I had these separated until the other day. One of them decided to get out of our pig pen over there, so I just put them all together for the afternoon, so didn't have to worry about anybody getting out again. But we got our 3 feeders in here that still need to find a home. But we also have our 2 gilts that are bred, and they should be farrowing out within the next week, I would think. Looking at the calendar, it looks like next Saturday is the day that I can start expecting. This girl back here, her belly's pretty low. She's got some teats developing. I'm pretty sure she's bred. If not, I don't know what a pregnant pig looks like for sure. I ain't never had one. Hey girl, or boy, whatever you are. Hey, you gonna be friendly? This girl right here, I can't decide if she's bred or not. Come on, get up. Get up. Get up. Get up. I think she might be bred. Her teats were developing, but I can't really decide if she took or not. She did. I don't know if you can see her right there. It was a lot bigger. But I think that's a hernia. That developed probably about a month ago. Some days it's kind of swollen, some days it's not. So I don't know if maybe she was bred and aborted the pigs or something. She just doesn't look as filled out as she did just even a month ago. So like you can see that little knot right there. I'm pretty sure that's a hernia. So if she doesn't farrow out, she's gonna be hitting the road as a butcher pig along with the rest of these. I thought I had them all sold, but never heard from the person again. I was holding them for them, and like I said, never heard from them again. But all our other pigs we sold probably about a month and a half ago. We sold our boar, and we sold, I think we had 13 feeders. We sold 10 of them, so hey. Pigs are looking good. I need to get them fed. I wasn't gonna feed them, but the goats have snuck up here. The goats can get into our pig pen. Maybe I'll sneak by and feed the pigs, but yeah. Should have piglets within the next week. And I think my plan is on our barn over here, we got these 2 lean-tos. I'm gonna put one gilt on one side, one on the other. I'm gonna put a board at a kind of cut off a corner to give the piglet somewhere to get away from mama, so hopefully mama doesn't roll over them. And that's the way we're gonna go for our first farrowing. We've never farrowed out here, so should be interesting. I'm almost 100% sure this pig's bred. This one might be. She just might be a little farther behind, just, or she might have lost her litter. I don't know. But I think we're definitely gonna have some piglets out of her. Well, that's pretty much a full update on what's going on here at the farm. The garden is in full swing. The rabbits we're really not doing too much with. Right now, the steers are growing good. Need to get them to some more grass. The goats we're having a little bit of struggle with, like we talked about. Pigs, still got 3 we need to get rid of, and 2 hopefully is going to farrow out here in the next couple of weeks. And we're going to have some piglets on the ground. Been super busy around here just trying to figure out, you know, how to manage my time a little bit better. Super excited to introduce you to Rylan here in just a little while. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the camera off and get the rest of my chores done, see if I can get that fence set up over on the neighbor's property. And whenever I get home, get Rylan ready for church, we'll introduce you to Rylan. I'm gonna get busy before it gets hot though. I really appreciate you hanging out with us. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, leave us a comment, and we'll see you on the next one. So this is Miss Rylan, and she is all dressed up, ready for her first day of church. Ain't you? Say hey, YouTube. Say hey.